Today on Soul Strings Podcast, we welcome an artist who has spent his career honoring one of the greatest voices in rock history while creating a powerful connection with audiences around the world. Gary Mullen first captured international attention when he won the television show Stars in Their Eyes with the highest number of votes in the show's history, performing as Freddie Mercury. What began as an unforgettable performance turned into a global phenomenon. As the frontman of Gary Mullen and the Works, Gary has spent more than 2 decades touring the world with the spectacular show One Night of Queen, delivering the energy, passion, and timeless music of Queen to sold-out audiences across the globe. But behind the iconic songs and the powerful stage presence is a fascinating personal journey, a story about inspiration, dedication, and the enduring power of music to connect generations. Today, we're going to talk about that journey, what it takes to step into the shoes of Freddie Mercury, what he's learned from performing these legendary songs night after night, and the deeper meaning of music can have in our lives. Gary, welcome to the Soul Strings Podcast.
Thank you.
It's great to have you on the show. First of all, let's talk about a little bit about your journey from Glasgow to the world stage. It's incredible. Can you take us back to the moment when you first fell in love with Queen and Freddie Mercury?
Oh, it was a long time ago. I mean, I was a kid. I was about 4 or 5 years old, and it was the first sort of. I've always had a family where music was a big thing in my family. My uncle was my hero. He would take a guitar at family parties, and we have a big family. And play and sing, and would hold the room. And first kind of person, I thought, that's cool. Imagine being able to do that, sing, and everyone watches you. It's kind of cool, and gets into it. And then fast forward to Top of the Pops, which was a pretty, TV show, chart show, and it was a We Are the Champions video with Freddie in the black and white leotard, and the band, and it starts just with Freddie, and then the boom, the smoke and the lights and the big build up, and I just was like, it felt for me like these guys had fallen from the sky. It's like, who are these guys? Are the aliens? And I just fell in love with the music. Instantly was like, that's my guys. That's my band. Like, I love these guys. And I remember asking my mom, I was like, who are they? That's Queen. And that was it. That was me. Boom. Down that road, down that journey of just being a fan and collecting the records, showing my age, collecting the records, and looking at the gatefold covers and reading the lyrics and looking at the photographs, and then just having posters on my wall and doing the whole fan journey thing. A lifelong sort of love affair with the band.
I can remember as a kid too. I think me and you were about the same age, and I can remember taking photo albums and I'd open them up in my bedroom, took the little hairbrush, and had the strobe light going, had the record. I think it was Bachman Turner Overdrive, Not Fragile, and it had, when you open the album cover, it had like a view of the crowd and the stage as if you were on stage looking at them. And I'll never forget doing that. So I'm right with you, brother. I know what that was like. Your wife and mother secretly submitted you into the Stars in Their Eyes, and you went on to win with a record number of votes. What was that moment like emotionally, and did you ever imagine it would launch a career for you?
No, because I mean, when they applied to the show, to the network, they said they agreed with each other they wouldn't tell me on the off chance that I never got anyone contacting me, for this. So we don't tell me, we won't know. And then I did get someone from the network contact me, and I was like, what? And I thought it was a friend pranking me, so I was really sarcastic to the guy on the phone. Oh, really? Oh, wow, that's exciting. Wow, that'll be great. And my wife was like, oh my God, they picked you. And I was like, what? We in? And I was like, what the hell? And it just grew wings, I thought, well, you know what? I've got a kid. My son, who now actually is my lighting designer and engineer on the tour, who designs all the stage set and things. He was 2.5 years old. And I thought, well, you know what? I've got another baby on the way, and my kid. Be something to show if I go on the TV. It'll be something to show him when he's grown up, Not expecting in a million years to win the entire thing, and win it with the biggest vote ever. So if you can see the clip on YouTube. I look like a moose that stepped in the front of a truck headlight if you watch it. Because when I win, I'm like, who won? And then they kind of dragged me out of the chair and took me through, and then I'm on stage and I've got to sing again. And I don't remember any of it. The next thing I knew, I was in the makeup chair getting all the, the wig and things taken off. And I'm like, who won? Like, you did? I'm like, what? And it was that kind, and then it just felt like I was on like a wave from a tsunami, and then the offers of work came through, and then I was out gigging, and it just became this beast that just keeps going, and to be, man, I'm 52 and I'll be 53 in November. To stand on a stage and see people having a good time, it's the ultimate thrill for me. I mean, gratitude doesn't even, begin to explain it. I said in a previous interview, it's one of the only jobs you get a round of applause. If a plumber comes to fix your toilet, you don't applaud him when he's done, well done.
That's true.
Encore, fix the faucet, So
I don't know, if I had to go to the bathroom and I couldn't use the toilet for a while and he finally showed up, I may applaud him.
You may applaud him. Well done, mate. That was great. But you wouldn't ask for an encore, But yeah, well, maybe you would. I don't know. But from it just. I always wanted to be a singer, let's say, from seeing Freddie on TV, and then it became the sort of, I better go do my homework here. I better, study some concerts and watch videos and really get the sort of, take the persona, because it is a persona. It's like being an actor. The other guy does the show, and this guy stays in the wings. It's the Clark Kent Superman kind of scenario where there's an alter ego, and he does show, and I can stay off the stage, or like an actor in a play. But yeah, it's the best. I do because I love it. And if I stop loving it, I'll be...
How do you balance honoring his legacy with bringing your own voice and presence to the performance? Is that difficult?
I think you kind of just lose yourself in the moment, and I've never heard the voice thing myself. I love that people do, and people did even when I was in bands, amateur bands as a kid, I would go, oh, great. They think I sound like my hero, brilliant. And then when it became this, it was like, have you adapted your voice? It's like, no, that's just how I sing. That's just what comes out. So I don't really think about it. I think if you think about it, to change it, it maybe change for the wrong way. The kind of it would be kind of counterproductive. So my thing is just to basically, 1, not fall over, 2, keep breathing, keep moving, and just keep singing and being key. That's kind of what's going through my head. I don't think about because I've heard these songs a million times, and I still listen to the albums, and I still watch the concerts as a fan. So it's always there. I don't think about it. I just go on and do it.
How many years have you been doing this, Gary?
This is year 26.
Year 26. Wow. Do you feel, for 26 years of doing this, do you feel as you get older that it's harder to perform vocally and maybe physically on stage?
You don't bounce back as well as you do, or you come off stage and go, oh, that's new. That niggle, that's a bit new. And it's more about the health and welfare aspect. When I started gigging all those years ago, you'd have a beer after the show and it was rock and roll and everything was great.
Right.
And then you get older and you go, you know what? Let me give that, knock that in the head and start looking after
having my tea.
Yeah, I'm sitting here with my coffee cup, or my teacup, having tea and drinking tea and stuff. And it is that thing of you start looking at it and going, right, people are paying money to come. They don't want to see someone that's wasted, that can't sing, that can't move, that is too out of it to do a show. They're paying their money. You are the escape from out there. You've got to be professional about it. You've got to. So I do work at it. I went for singing lessons, vocal training for pure endurance more than anything else, and to learn how to keep that endurance level for 3 shows back to back. And this show this year is the longest show we've ever done. It's about 2 hours and 10 minutes we have an intermission so that venues like to let people go to the bar, go get a drink, spend money. But the entire show is about 2 hours 5, 2 hours and 10. So it's intense, and we're not it's a rock concert. It's not a,
right.
It's not a sort of half-assed,
What is that?
It's intense. It's from the word go. It's wow. It's you got to keep, because Queen with Freddie, it was high energy. You got to keep that audience, and you got to involve the audience. They are part of the show. They're an extension to the night. You want them to sing along. You want them to headbang and play a guitar and really involve themselves in it. And we call it the rock and roll party. And we say to people, come and join it. And you feed off that energy. The adrenaline just gets more and more. You do something, you feed off them, they feed off you. And there's that constant back and forward, that energy tennis, as I call it. And you feel invincible. Then you can go back to the bus and go, oh man, I'm exhausted, and fall asleep. But it's worth it, But yeah, it just, as you get older, it does get a little bit more difficult, but you put the effort in. you get the rewards. I definitely believe that. I think if you look after yourself and you look after your voice and you look after your body, you've only got one body, you might as well look after it, and
That's right.
and keep at the optimal level. We're our own worst critic, like if one
Oh
of us
yeah. So
if one of
true.
us have if one of us has a slightly off night, you go, that sucked. To you, it sucked. To the audience, it didn't suck. You may have gone,
Yeah, they don't know. They don't
they
know
don't
half the
know.
stuff that we know as performers. Right,
Exactly.
exactly.
If you go and you go, I hit a bum note there. God, I went to go and do the Davey go, I went to play that and suddenly I forgot how to play that bit. Nobody cares. You find a way of getting through it, or you noodle and you cover it up. And I think that makes it. I think that's why live music is so exciting. You know yourself. No two nights are the same. No two audiences are the same. So
Exactly.
that keeps you going.
What is it like for you to prepare for going on stage? I mean, because Freddie Mercury sometimes he would do his scales and do his full voice scales, and
Yeah.
sometimes he didn't do anything at all. He was just very quiet
Yeah.
before he went on stage. What is it like for you to prepare before you go on stage?
I do all the scales and the warm-ups and things. I equate it for people of a certain age who own the Evel Knievel stunt cycle. It's the wind-up.
Yeah.
And then you press the button when you're about to hit the stage.
Great analogy.
So that's the only way I can. And I'm a child. I think we're a similar age. You remember that wind up, and off it goes at speed. It is that thing. It's like a dynamo. You've got to wind you can't just go, well, you're not just going to go in and sing. That's not how you watch Freddie at Wembley or any of the shows. He's winding himself up because he wants to come out like, wow. And it's got to be that intensity, that dynamic, start. So I start about an hour and a half before the show, start putting the wig on and the moustache and the makeup. I've always got, like, as I call it, my party tune mix on in my dressing room. So it can be 80s music or disco or high energy rock music, just whatever I'm in the mood for that night. And that's on, and I'm doing push-ups and I'm stretching the voice and getting ready. So that when I leave the dressing room, when we do the walk, we all do the fist bump. It's a tradition. We fist bump each other. And if anyone from the crew's there, backstage, local, they get, because it's bad juju if you don't give everyone a fist bump, because you want everyone to be part of it. It's like a team. Let's do it. We're a big team. So by the time we hit the stage, we're all ramped up and literally ready to go. So it is the as I call it, Evel Knievel effect.
What do you think it is about Queen's music that continues to resonate across generations and cultures today?
I think it's just timeless. I think they would just had an incredible knack of catchy hooks, things that and songs that can resonate with people. Songs like We Are the Champions. No Time for Losers because we're the champions. You're like, yeah, come on, we got this. We will rock you. Every sporting event in the world, you hear those songs.
Oh, they're such great anthems. Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody, I don't know anybody that doesn't go da 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 like Wayne's World. You just do it.
Oh yeah.
From grandparents to 5-year-olds and everyone in between, just giving it da 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 da. Or you hear da da dum 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 da dum dum. You just can't help but groove. They just had a knack of it, and one of the things a lot of people don't know about Queen is that every single member of the band wrote a top 20 hit. They were all songwriters, and they brought their particular, love for each style of music and put it into this big melting pot called Queen. John Deacon unashamedly said that Chic, Good Times inspired Another One Bites the Dust. Freddie, crazy little thing called Love Was Freddie's Elvis tribute. It just, Bohemian Rhapsody, God knows where he was going with that. Nobody knows that. I don't even think the band knew about Freddie because it was all in his head. We've got the opera section. What? And you still put that record on, it still sounds as fresh as it did in 75. It's like, who writes that? How do you write that? How do you go, I've got this idea for a song. By the way, it's a ballad and it's an opera piece and then it's a hard rock song and then it's a ballad at the end. What? Or it's 6.5 minutes long. What?
I'll never forget hearing Queen. I'll never forget hearing A Night at the Opera, that album, the first time. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
What it's so different. It's like, what is this?
Like, for example, John the drummer and I, John Halliwell, our drummer, we've been friends since we were teenagers, and we formed our first band together. And then I got married and had kids, and he was a professional musician. I was just the family man. I'd go to karaoke and stuff. But when I first met John at 15, I introduced him to Queen, and he was like, he tells me, "We Will Rock You" and "We're the Champions" and all the radio hit. And I gave him Queen 2 on a cassette, and I said, "This album will change your life," and it did. It's his favourite album of all time. He's like, Seven Seas Arrive, Fairy Fellas, Masterstroke, all these songs that just are so out there and so complex. And he was just like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, that's Queen. But Queen are Radio Gaga. Yeah, but Queen aren't just Radio Gaga. Queen are that. Prog rock, and opera and vaudeville, song and dance, like Fred Astaire numbers and heavy rock and every ballads and harps and orchestrations with guitars. And he just fell in love, and it changed his life. That one album, it was like, that will change, and it did change his life.
What is the most memorable experience that you've ever had with a fan? Something that still sticks with you today?
I had a lady in England quite a few years ago now contact the management and say, hey, can we meet Gary after the show? I've got something that belonged to Freddie I want to show him. And I was like, cool, back you come. And it was Freddie's Live Aid belt. She'd bought it at an auction.
Wow.
The studded belt. And she wanted me to wear it for the show. And I was like, no. Because if anything happens to it, I would never forgive myself. And she let me try it on. And I was like, oh my God, this is the belt. This is the Live Aid belt. This is one of the greatest performances of all time. He wore this, and she was like, "I just wanted you to." And I got a picture taken with her, and she wanted an autograph, and she was happy, and I was over the moon that I got to touch and wear the belt that he did that performance for. So that was kind of special. I also signed an autograph for Freddie's mum, which blew me away. I signed one of my tour programs because one of the staff that worked for her came to the show and asked could I sign an autograph for her on the tour brochure. And then she emailed me and thanked me for keeping her son's legacy alive, which made me laugh. I just thought, he doesn't need any help from her. Like that tour, I was like, thank you so much, but he doesn't need my help. And she was like, thank you. I'm going to treasure it with all the things that I have, all the possessions. And that blew me away. So that was pretty special too.
Yeah, I can only imagine. What has been the biggest challenge of touring internationally, and how do you stay grounded through it all?
I think you've just got to, like I say, gratitude's a big part. I think you've never got to. We always play the shows like it would be our last. You've always got to do it. You've got to leave everything on the stage, and you got to play for that audience that night. You've got to give them everything because they've paid their money and they want to see a show, and that keeps you grounded because you kind of go right. Ego gets put away. Ego comes a little bit during the show. You've got to be that big bombastic personality, and do that. But you've also got to have that connection, that human connection with the audience, and really make them feel this is your show. You've paid your ticket money. This is your party. This is our night. This is special. And make them feel that you're singing the songs to each person in that audience, because there'll be people there that saw Queen back in their heyday, and there'll be new generations of fans. A lot of young kids come to the show now because they saw the movie and they've fallen in love and they've got the records, and they listen to them. And I think that keeps you pretty grounded. It keeps you working hard to make sure that you are only as good as your last perform, and not to, as the term dial it in, where someone just kind of goes through the motion. They perform a little bit and then it's like, right, take the money and run. It's not us. We can't do that. And our pedigree is, watching bands like Queen, and Led Zeppelin and AC/DC and Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath, and bands that left it all on the stage, that gave everything that was do or die for them, back in the heyday of rock and roll, and playing this music, you feel a legacy. There's a part of a legacy you're trying to keep alive here, because Freddie isn't here anymore. John Deacon doesn't play. Brian and Roger are nearly 80. But it's getting to that. Unfortunately, we're losing our peers, and we're trying to keep that music alive. We're doing our small bit, so that keeps you grounded. But the gratitude aspect, you've got to be grateful doing this, because we are. To be these many years down the line, and still people come and want to see us play these songs that these guys wrote, it's a blessing. It really is.
So you say you play, so the show is 2 hours or so
Yep.
long, right? About how many songs are played during, and we got to remember, some of them are 6-7 minutes long.
Yep.
So it's like, how many songs do you typically get through on a set list?
I don't know what's on this one, 29, 30 songs, maybe more. It's a lot of music. It's a lot. There's a couple of things that, segue into each other, because Queen were known for their medleys. They do a bit of a song and then jump to something else, and we do a bit of that as well. But we've got a little kind of acoustic section in this tour, because this is the 40th anniversary of the Magic Tour, which was Freddie's last tour with Queen, that never toured America. So we thought, what, let's bring that, the costumes, the light, the set list, and we took all the kind of bits out that we thought, well, that's not really Queen. Like they did, like like a rock and roll medley of like Hello Mary Lou and Tutti Frutti and things like that. We just threw other Queen songs in, other hits, to kind of go, right, well, we'll put Somebody to Love in, and we'll put Don't Stop Me Now, the kind of real big hits that people will touch. And then we'll go back to the Wembley concert and we'll do it for the end. We have an acoustic set, we have a little acoustic section, which is to Love of My Life, and another acoustic song where the band come down to the front of the stage and we do it. And it just adds a different dynamic dimension, because Queen would do that, and it's a lot of fun. Because you're there right in front of the audience. It's like, strip down, there you go. You know, no bells, no whistles, just an acoustic guitar, a bass drum, a tambourine, a bass, some microphones, and there's a couple of songs, and then back to the heavy rock and roll and pianos and keyboards and all the pizzazz. So it just, and that's the point where there's no room for error. It's just like, well, here we are. They join, you know, and we get the audience to join in and sing along, especially Love of My Life. Everyone knows that, especially because it's one of the big songs in the movie. We get the audience to join, and you know, in Somebody to Love, we get them to be the choir, you know, to join me with it, because there's only 5 of us on stage, and that again is the classic Queen, you know, 60 voices. Can't replicate 60 voices on stage. Get the audience to do it. Get them to join. Find me somebody. Come on, join in with us, and they love it, because it's like, oh, you're breaking the fourth wall. It's like it's not a musical. It's like it is a concert. You can sing along, you can boogie, you can dance, you can, you know, let yourself go. It's the rock and roll. Please join us. You know, Radio Gagas do that. It's the involvement of the audience, and it's their night.
So you guys got a concert coming up here in Chesterfield at the Factory on March 22nd. Tell us a little bit about that show, and then I got a couple more closing questions for you. But tell us a little bit about that upcoming show on March 22nd. What can we expect? I know it's 2 hours something long, with about 29 songs. But what can we expect?
Well, first of all, the Factory is a very, very cool venue. We played that a couple of years ago when we were doing the Works tour, which was very industrial, you know, the cogs and all that. And we get there, and the first thing they do is say, hey, welcome to the Factory. You've sold out. We're going to put you on the sellout wall. Here's a cog to sign. And we were just like, seriously? You know, the Works tour is all mechanics and cogs.
Yeah.
And we signed the cog, and the guys there are so cool. And it's a great rock and roll venue. This concert is literally, we're recreating something that American audiences didn't get a chance to see live, which was the Magic Tour, which was 1986, which was Queen after Live Aid. The Kind of Magic album came out, the Highlander movie came out, all that music was in the movie. Things like Who Wants to Live Forever and A Kind of Magic.
Oh, that's really cool.
Show, you know, and it's so, you know, it's the military jackets and you know, the white costumes and the big lighting rig and the smoke and all the big hits. All we've crammed in, we've shoehorned in as much music as we physically can for that amount of time. And we're looking forward to it. We're really proud of this show. Again, this year we've done a brand new show, and we're really proud of it, and we hope that the audience will enjoy it as much as we will enjoy performing it. And like I say, the Factory is a cool rock and roll venue. You know, you guys down there, you like your rock and roll. You know, it's
one of my favorite places to see a band and see a show.
I always think of that Simpsons, you know, Aerosmith. Hello, St. Louis. Springfield, Stephen.
That's Springfield, Stephen.
Just remind, you know, that I just remember that as well. But no, it's, you guys have got a great rock and area, rock and roll. And
we
and
really do.
And it's great. We've been there. I think we've done 4 shows in the Factory. I think we did 2 and then 2. I think this year we could only do the 1 because of scheduling. But both nights were sold out, and it was like as soon as the lights went down, because sometimes the lights go down, and if you're, especially for a new venue, you know, and the audience take a bit of time. We call it the pot boiler effect, where you put a pot in the stove and it takes a while to boil. Whereas places with the Factory, the first time we played, the lights went down and the cheer went up, and it was like, oh, you could feel the energy before the intro tape had even finished and we'd even stepped on the stage. It was like, oh, this is going to be good, because you feel that energy, the crackle in the room. So we're looking forward to feeling that crackle because it gets us.
That's awesome.
Gets the stunt cycle wound up even more, and you go, right, let's do this. And you know you're going to get a great start to the show. And that energy just keeps building as the show.
Well, before that show, and you hear that, and you know the pot's boiling and everything's getting ready to take off, what is a ritual you have before stepping on stage?
It's when I leave this guy in the wing, he stays there, and the other guy goes, darling, I have this. And he runs on and does it. Because look, I still get nervous. So as I'm walking stage, I'm kind of, my nervous energy gets more and more, because I'm like, because there's a point of no return. When the lights go down and the intros start, you can't just go, I'm not going to bother, and go back to your dressing room. You're committed. The gig started.
That's right.
You got to go forward. You're not running back. You've got to go charge. It's like the charge of the light brigade. You're going through the curtain and you're on. There's no, I'm not ready yet. Screw that. You're going. The light, we're on. And that is exciting. And and my stomach kind of drops a little bit. And then the other side of my brain goes, I've got this. We're okay. Let's enjoy it. And I always think to myself, let's have fun. Because if I have fun and we have fun, the audience will have fun. You know, if we look bored or we look, you know, annoyed or there's no, it dies. There's no energy. And we always do. And we laugh and joke with each other and muck around with each other on stage because not just for the audience point of view, for us, it's just for us. We're fans. We're fans playing this music. This is awesome. We're fans. We're playing this music to other fans. And they're digging it. We're digging it. It's great. And that is it. That's the key to the show. It's like, yeah, as long as you're digging it, we're digging it. Great. It's a good night.
If Freddie Mercury were still alive and you could sing any song with him, what would you choose and why?
Ooh, that's a good. I've not been asked that question for a long time. Actually, that's one that's a good one. You got me there. I don't know. Probably Under Pressure because it was a duet, or maybe Somebody to Love because it's one of my favourite Queen songs. And that's the song when you somebody to, everybody in the audience goes like that and leans in. Is he going to hit that note? Because that's the note.
Do you ever lean in and go, am I going to hit that note?
I always go, oh God, don't sound like Scooby-Doo. Because it's that note. It's that's the kind of, right, is he any good? Can he do it? And tight underwear definitely helps, get up. And it's one that I practice in warm-up, somebody to, you go, right, it's there, it's all good, we're all good. But on this tour, there's a song called, we do a piece and a medley. I'll say there's a medley at the beginning of the show quite early on, and it's a song called In the Lap of the Gods, revisited from Sheer Heart Attack. And it's got a lot of that falsetto stuff in that range. So it's like early on in the show, it's like you go from like, it's so easy, and you're in that, and you go, don't screw up there. Don't go from that and then just fall off the cliff. And, suddenly Scooby-Doo turns up. You don't want that happening. So there is that kind of like element of, and you can see the audience go, oh, is he going to hit that note? Oh, he did. Oh, well done. And then they applaud and they go for it, and it becomes like an American Idol moment of applause. And sometimes I want to applaud myself. Oh, well done, you got it, because the human voice is, it's like you get tired. You get, it's like, this is my instrument. Guitar goes out of tune, you retune it. The voice goes, it goes. It just goes away.
I grew up as a singer myself, and I told musicians that all the time. Your instrument's always going to play. Mine doesn't always play.
And then you go, and then you have an argument with yourself. What the hell was that? What are you singing? And then you start this internal monologue with yourself. You idiot. You didn't warm up enough. No, it did. No, it didn't. And you're suddenly just having this mad, and singers get it. They know what I'm talking about, because every singer I speak to has that inner battle. Where were you going with that? What was your build-up? What was your diaphragm control? And you suddenly, because you're singing the gig, you know the gig, so you don't need to worry about what words. Well, sometimes you do. I mean, there's been a couple of moments on stage where I've maybe sung some of these songs, maybe, I don't know, several thousand times, where your brain just goes, you don't know this. And you just go, uh-oh. And you make it up. You just go, sing a lyric. And you can see some diehard Queen fan going, that's not
now
right.
in Japanese.
That's not right. Like, We Will Rock You. I remember one night getting to the second verse and completely forgetting how it went and just making it up. And I could see a guy saying to his daughter, that's not right. Front row, that's not right. And I'm thinking, yeah, you're right, that isn't right. But what am I going to do?
Isn't it crazy how that happens sometimes?
Yeah.
I'll never forget singing in a band one time, and we had these two songs, and they were back to back. I think it was just a cover band, but there were two songs back to back, and they sounded very similar. And I couldn't get the first tune out of my head when I went to the next tune. I couldn't get it out of my head. And I was like, I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah,
the first tune was still in my head. I couldn't get rid of it.
Well, we were touring in France before we came here in the US. We got a big, massive following in France. We're doing these arena shows. And I'm introducing Don't Stop Me Now. And at the same time, I'm going, right, I'm a superstar leaping where? What's the next line? As I'm introducing the song, I'm like, what the hell's the next line? And I'm like, tonight I'm going to have myself, right? You get that line's coming up. I'm a superstar leaping through the sky. I'm in the sky. It's okay. You're okay. You know it. Because I'm thinking, what's the next what? I know there's a tiger somewhere in there, but how do I get to the tiger? What's before the tiger? And that does happen. And I've Dave, your guitarist, one night, we were doing the One to Break Free, and he got to the guitar solo, and he said he just looked at the guitar strings, and he just all the notes, the frets looked the same. He just went and did a dive bomb, and then came in on the bit he remembered. And it was just like, he's played the song about 6,000 times, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't know what happened.
That's awesome.
And again, it's live music. You know how it is. It's live music. It keeps it exciting.
Yeah. Well, Gary, thank you so much. Gary Mullen, ladies and gentlemen. It's One Night of Queen, and it's performed by Gary Mullen and the Works. They will be at the Factory on March 22nd. Make sure, if you don't have your tickets, to get your tickets. Go see them. And Gary, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. And we can't wait to see the show. So we'll see you at the Factory.
Looking forward to it.